I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what the heck's going on with this. Fifth player on my board. It's never happened before in 47 years where a player that high has dropped this far into the fourth round. A quarterback that's sitting there in round four with other quarterbacks being taken who aren't as good as Shedeur, aren't even close, in my opinion. The NFL has been clueless for 50 years when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks. Clueless. No idea what they're doing in terms of evaluating quarterback. That's proof. There's proof of that.
How many times
we know exactly what we're talking about with quarterbacks.
Mel Kiper just snapped on the Cleveland Browns like full-on nuclear meltdown. He didn't just criticize them, he dragged the whole organization through the mud and set it on fire while everyone watched. According to Kyper, this isn't just a team losing football games anymore, it's a franchise losing its mind. And caught right in the middle of this circus, Shedeur Sanders. The poor dude walked into that locker room thinking he was stepping into a professional NFL environment. Turns out, it's more like walking onto the set of a football-themed reality show gone completely off the rails. How do you ruin a generational quarterback before he even takes a real snap? The Browns are putting on a clinic in chaos. It's one thing to take a few losses, that's football. But to lose your entire identity as a team, that takes a special kind of dysfunction. For Cleveland, this isn't bad luck anymore, it's tradition. Other teams rebuild, some reload. But the Browns, they reinvent disappointment every single season like it's their personal brand. And Mel Kiper, he's finally hit his limit.
Well, Mel Kiper is the latest to go at and destroy the Cleveland Browns organization over this whole quarterback situation when it comes to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Now, we all know who Mel Kiper is, well respected in the sports of football. Mel Kiper's big board, his draft board, he gives you great breakdown on players. And he said some things about the Cleveland Browns organization that you don't want to.
The guy who spent decades calmly grading drafts and evaluating prospects just went scorched earth on live TV. This wasn't analysis. It was a verbal demolition of the Browns' entire operation. Kyper didn't just question their decisions, he questioned their sanity. You could practically hear the exhaustion in his voice when he asked what everyone in the football world's been screaming for years. What are you doing, Cleveland? Because somehow, someway, the Browns managed to take Shedeur Sanders, one of the brightest young quarterback talents of this generation, and turn his NFL debut into a straight-up cautionary tale. It's like watching someone buy a $300,000 Ferrari and drive it straight into Lake Erie while smiling for the cameras. The whole league's watching this disaster unfold, and the Browns are acting like it's just another day at the office. The Browns have a supernatural talent. No matter how much promise you hand them, they'll flip it upside down and light it on fire before anyone blinks. Give them something golden, something pure, something ready to shine, and they'll turn it into chaos like it's their favorite sport every single time. Now let's be real. Shedeur Sanders isn't just some random rookie trying to prove himself. He's the son of primetime, Deion Sanders. That name alone comes with legacy-level pressure, the kind that breaks most players before they even get started. But Shedeur, he's built different. The kid's got the arm strength, the accuracy, the poise. He's got everything that screams future franchise quarterback. He's not a project. He's a prodigy waiting to explode on the field. But of course, there's one tiny problem. He's in Cleveland, and that's where dreams go to get tested. The Browns don't just struggle with quarterbacks, they torment them. Kyper was right when he pointed out the circus of constant coordinator swaps, broken systems, and quick-fix mindsets that fix nothing.
This is not the first time that Mel Kiper has gone viral for his takes and thoughts about the NFL draft. He's been doing this as long as anybody. He practically invented the NFL draft with his enthusiastic draft coverage, but we have never seen anything close to this with his consistent remarks about Shedeur throughout. It's okay to be wrong. When you're in sports and you give takes, you can be wrong. It's just a matter of when to let it go, and he continued to pour in, and Reese Davis at one point stepped in to try and destroy the narrative that Mel.
This team doesn't build quarterbacks, it drains their spirit. While most franchises spend the offseason strategizing for the future, Cleveland spends theirs fighting to survive their own mess. Every year it's the same sad script. a new plan, a new slogan, and eventually a brand new scapegoat when it all collapses. And right now, all signs point to Shedeur Sanders being next on the chopping block. Just picture it, growing up around legends, training under one of football's greatest minds, carrying your father's fire in your chest, only to walk into the league ready to carve your own path and land in a city that eats its quarterbacks alive. Imagine walking into your new NFL home only to realize it's the same franchise that once made its quarterback room so toxic, players were literally flipping coins to decide who had to start. That's not competition, that's chaos with a playbook. The Browns keep preaching that they're building something special, but when you look at that sideline, it feels less like a football operation and more like a group therapy circle for broken play callers. Every coordinator that strolls through those doors swears they're about to unlock potential, but somehow they always end up locking it away instead.
Let Shedeur get a series then. Heck, let him play in some NFL action. You moved him up to 2 on the depth chart. There's a couple minutes left. Game's over. Why not let him get out there and get his feet wet a little bit in the NFL in a setting that doesn't matter as much, just like he did in preseason? Made no sense to me. ESPN Cleveland looked at this and said, well, maybe that's why the Browns didn't put in Shedeur. They didn't want to start a quarterback controversy, right? You put in Shedeur at the end, he goes and scores a touchdown, and all of a sudden everyone's going to scream that he should be the starting quarterback.
And now Shedeur Sanders is in the middle of it. The poor guy didn't sign up for a reality show titled How to Waste Talent in 10 Easy Steps. He came here to ball out, not babysit a coaching carousel that spins faster than a slot machine. What's wild is that Cleveland actually had a moment, a tiny glimpse where it felt like the curse might finally crack. The defense was fierce, the run game was tight, and for once the whole city believed again. You could feel that spark, that electric, maybe this is our year energy, but of course it vanished just as fast as it came. Because Cleveland doesn't build momentum, it repels it like bad karma. And when the draft rolled around, that was supposed to be the moment, the reset, the redemption arc, a chance to build something around their quarterback of the future, Shedeur Sanders. But instead of preparing for greatness, the Browns treated it like a side quest they forgot to finish. No offensive line help, no clear offensive identity, no real game plan that actually fits a young, explosive quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, just pure, unfiltered chaos dressed up as confidence.
Kyper is the latest to go at and destroy the Cleveland Browns organization over this whole quarterback situation when it comes to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Now, we all know who Mel Kiper is, well respected in the sports of football. Mel Kiper's big board, his draft board, he gives you great breakdown on players. And he said some things about the Cleveland Browns.
Mel Kiper saw through that illusion right away. You could practically picture his face, that sharp, disappointed glare of a man who spent years trying to defend this team, only to realize the truth was staring him down the whole time. The doubt was always right. The Browns keep swearing they're committed to winning, but talk is cheap. Real commitment isn't about flashy press conferences or social media hashtags. It's about structure, vision, and sticking to a plan when things get rough. Cleveland's version of commitment, it's like they made a blood pact with dysfunction itself. They don't commit to progress, they commit to chaos. And that's the heartbreak of it all. Because in the NFL, raw talent means nothing if the system around it crumbles. You can have the strongest arm, the sharpest football IQ, the most gifted athletic frame, but if your environment is toxic, your potential dies before it ever gets the chance to breathe. That's the real tragedy behind Shedeur's situation. Analysts aren't doubting him. They're terrified of what's surrounding him. A rookie quarterback needs stability, a consistent playbook, a solid offensive line, and coaches who know how to build confidence, not break it. But in Cleveland, they hand their quarterbacks a headset full of confusion, a playbook written in disappearing ink, and a laminated good luck card.
99. I mentioned the quarterbacks, they've had busts galore, right? But they had one they hit on. When you hit on a quarterback, and you know in that building and on that field, you got the right guy who's a leader, the players rally around and you let him go and you cut him loose, shame on you. So again, that's speaks to where we are right now. You mentioned 2 first-round picks. They have their own, which is going to be high, and they have Jacksonville's pick as well. They got work to do. And again, figure out Dylan Gabriel. That was Kevin Stefanski's guy. Yep. Shedeur Sanders, Andrew Barry brought in because he was there in the 5th round, and we took him, see what happens. I'm not ready just because the league doesn't speak. I don't care what the league says. The league doesn't speak about quarterbacks because they don't know any more than what you and I do.
Like it's some kind of joke. The Browns' version of preparation is pure optimism with zero blueprint behind it. They hype every offseason move like it's the second coming, sell every roster change as the one, and then spend the next few months trying to explain away the disaster that follows. It's the same sad cycle. Hype, hope, heartbreak, repeat. And while the front office keeps spinning excuses, it's the fans who take the hit. No city deserves to ride this emotional roller coaster year after year, especially not Cleveland. You can feel the pressure bubbling already. The expectations, the spotlight, the constant noise that turns every throw and every mistake into national drama. Every pass Shedeur Sanders makes comes with a headline attached, and every loss gets dissected like a crime scene.
Organization ruins quarterbacks because we've seen everything that he talked about. You look at Baker Mayfield, he's down in Tampa, he's showing out. Cleveland gave up on him. You look at Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has balled out ever since he's been traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco damn near threw for 500 yards today against the Chicago Bears. That was a great game. It came down to the wire, and Chicago pulled it out. But we've seen what Joe Flacco has done.
When Mel Kiper speaks out, it's not because he wants attention or to say, I told you so. It's because he's seen this movie before. And just like every sequel in Cleveland, he knows exactly how it ends. Full of chaos, wasted potential, and another press conference about lessons learned. The Browns are masters at capturing lightning in a bottle and then somehow leaving the cap off. It's almost impressive how they can turn a moment of progress into a full-blown parody. You've got a loyal fan base, a historic football city, and all the raw talent you could ask for. Yet the front office keeps tripping over its own plans like it's part of the strategy. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders' potential is just sitting there waiting to explode. He's got the precision, the poise, the pedigree, everything that screams future superstar. But potential means nothing in a system that chews up its own talent. And the warning signs, they're already flashing. Miscommunications at camp, vague coach quotes, and that dreaded, we're still figuring it out energy that usually means they're not figuring out anything at all.
Has completely let the Cleveland Browns organization have it of the way that they're handling quarterback situation when it comes to Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders this year. Now, we've all seen the quarterbacks that came out of Cleveland, and Mel Kiper, he alluded to the situation with all quarterbacks coming out of Cleveland. And basically he's saying that, the Cleveland Browns organization, they destroy quarterbacks.
That same messy energy just keeps looping back. Chaos with no destination. Every NFL team's got flaws, sure, but Cleveland's feel custom built. Coaching chaos, inconsistent drafting, locker room drama. It's like they went down the checklist of dysfunction and said, yeah, we'll take all 3. And every offseason, here comes the same speech. This year's different. The culture's fixed. The leadership's stronger. But by mid-season, boom, the same meltdown hits right on schedule. You almost have to admire how consistent they are at disappointing people. They may not win games, but man, they never miss when it comes to breaking hearts. For Shedeur Sanders, this isn't just a rookie challenge. It's an endurance test. This is about surviving the storm long enough to change it. Can he rise above the noise? Can he hold his own in a franchise that eats optimism for breakfast? That's the real question. Because let's be clear, the entire league is watching this play out.
Players are underperforming, the coaches are underperforming, the general manager's underperforming. But as long as the owner is the head circus clown.
Yeah, which he is. Yeah.
And he's P.T. Barnum.
Yep.
He's picking all of these people under him.
Yeah.
This is who he is. This is what the organization is.
And
he's not going to get it right until he walks away and hires people to do it.
Right. And it's It's not impossible to win with a bad owner, but it's much harder.
Everyone knows what kind of fire Shedeur brings, but everyone also knows what kind of chaos Cleveland creates. If this story ends badly, the blame won't fall on him. It'll land squarely on an organization that just can't get out of its own way. And the irony? It's thick. The same analysts who once hyped the Browns' rebuild are now asking if the rebuild itself needs rebuilding. Mel Kiper didn't just critique them, he flat out exposed them. He spotlighted the never-ending loop of hype, hope, and heartbreak that's been Cleveland's brand for decades. The Browns aren't cursed, they're just chronically confused. The Browns have this wild habit of mistaking noise for progress and momentum for leadership. Then, when everything inevitably falls apart, they look shocked, like the football gods are plotting against them, instead of realizing it's just the fallout from their own bad decisions. And right in the center of this storm...
So, I don't trust the Cleveland Browns when it comes to their quarterback situation on or off the field. So, they announce on game day that Shedeur has a quote-unquote back injury, yet he did go out to warm up. They watched him warm up, and they disqualified him because he's got a back injury. I don't trust it for 1 second. Bailey Zappi has I said it 5 times on the show, he's been the unofficial, unstated backup quarterback all along because Belichick once drafted him in the 4th round as a potential replacement for Tom Brady.
Shedeur Sanders, a young quarterback trying to survive a disaster that's been brewing in Cleveland long before he even showed up. It's almost poetic, a generational talent trapped inside a generational mess. If Cleveland ever truly wants to flip the script, it's not about another dramatic press conference or another "we're starting fresh" promise. It's about doing the one thing this team has never managed to do: build stability. Because here's the truth, if you keep changing everything, nothing ever actually changes. This whole situation feels like the same old movie, just with a different cast of characters. The names swap out, the faces get younger, but the mistakes, oh, they stay the same.
Mel, now that you've had time to sort of catch your breath and internalize everything that happened, because your reaction during it was visceral and real, and I understood it completely, and I knew that that's how you were going to react. Now that you've had some time to take it all in, what are your final words on the way that whole thing went down?
I think the team that ended up with Shedeur would find a Shedeur that is all into that team. I think Shedeur just wanted, hey, you have faith in me, you have belief in me, who's going to have that faith, that belief? And in the draft process, until draft day and your pick, you really don't know. So, Cam Ward got that assurance from Tennessee.
You could replace Shedeur Sanders with any other young quarterback, and the story would still end in heartbreak. Until the Browns figure out who they really are as an organization, they'll keep becoming exactly what the world expects. The team that almost gets it right before finding a brand new way to mess it all up. There's a tragic beauty to it. A franchise so desperate for redemption, yet so addicted to dysfunction that it keeps tripping over its own potential. Mel Kiper's rant wasn't just a critique, it was a full-blown eulogy for wasted talent. Because if history's proven anything, it's that Cleveland doesn't just struggle to win, it struggles to learn. Cleveland's biggest problem isn't bad luck, it's that they never learn. And if that doesn't change soon, Shedeur Sanders could end up being just another brilliant name swallowed by the same tired story. The NFL lives for redemption arcs. It loves the underdog who rises, the fallen team that finally figures it out. And here's the kicker. The talent's there, the opportunity's right in front of them, but the Browns keep missing the one piece that actually matters: direction. For decades, that's been the missing ingredient. It's not too late to fix it. But the clock is ticking fast, because if they don't get it together soon, Mel Kiper won't even need to say another word. The results will speak louder than any analyst ever could. Every other NFL franchise is out here playing football, but Cleveland, they're spinning the wheel on football roulette. And for Shedeur Sanders,
Jimmy and D. Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, y'all got to cut it out. Whatever is going on there is becoming too obvious that you're trying to break the kid here, because realistically, he should be in the game already. I know you're trying to try out another quarterback. You're trying to make sure that whatever you do, you get your point across them. it's becoming more and more ridiculous on you guys' part. You're not winning, so it's not like you're not having them on the floor on the field because you guys are winning and you're trying to preserve something. At this point, it seems like you're just trying to go as far as you can to get a negative response out of him, and we don't.
That's the ultimate challenge, escaping the chaos long enough to rewrite the story everyone expects. If he pulls it off, it won't just be a victory. It'll be a full-blown miracle for the entire city of Cleveland. But if the Browns keep doing what they always do, overthinking, overpromising, and under-delivering, then history won't just repeat itself, it'll come back louder and uglier than ever before. So here's the real question. How many more times will Cleveland be handed a generational quarterback before they finally figure out how to protect one? The answer, as always, depends on whether the Browns can pull off the one thing they've never been able to do consistently: get out of their own damn way. Until then, Mel Kiper's warning hangs over them like a prophecy waiting to come true. Give the Browns a quarterback with every tool in the book, and they'll still hand him a toolkit with no instructions. But here's the question everyone's whispering. What if this time Shedeur Sanders is different? What if he's the one who doesn't just join the cycle, but breaks it? Not by depending on the Browns' broken system, but by surviving it and reshaping it from the inside. Maybe that's the real test. Not whether he can just win games, but whether he can stay sane long enough to change the story completely. Because this city deserves that one moment.
It's going to show us in real time you don't know what you're talking about. Because you told us in the draft this was your hand-picked quarterback. It is the exact reason Shedeur Sanders doesn't get reps, because he's going to give every opportunity for Dillon Gabriel to throw his way out of purgatory. It's the reason he dropped back 58 times against the Steelers. The jig is up, Kevin. We understand what it is. We get it. And when you don't have Quinshon Judkins to prop him up, you see what happens. The offense is terrible. Kevin Stefanski has been outcoached by all types of coaches. The offense is JV, high school, Lakewood St. Ed's dump-offs.
That one season where everything finally clicks. The fans deserve more than another next year. They deserve this year. And Shedeur deserves an organization that believes in him more than it believes in its own excuses. Mel Kiper's rant might have sounded brutal, but maybe that's exactly what Cleveland needed. A loud, public wake-up call. A reminder that talent isn't forever. If you waste it long enough, it fades, no matter how bright it burns. Football has never been just about skill. It's about alignment. The right player in the right system, under the right leadership. That's how dynasties are built. And until Cleveland figures out how to align those three things, it'll keep turning pure potential into another cautionary tale. Right now, the whole league's watching, and the fans are holding their breath. Shedeur Sanders might not have asked for this pressure, but he's carrying the weight of Cleveland's football soul on his shoulders. He might just be their last shot at redemption, their final chance to prove they've finally learned from decades of heartbreak. So can the Browns finally build something real, something worth believing in? Or will they do what they've always done best? Take something beautiful and watch it crumble from the inside. Because if this story ends like all the others, Mel Kiper won't have to say a word next time. The scoreboard will do all the talking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.